Welcome Pisces to your in-depth monthly horoscope for November 2023 for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you some standout details to look out for, but please stay with me. I will explore in much greater depth all the ins and outs, particularly relevant to your sign. It's a very exciting start to the month with the Sun, Mercury and also Mars all in your 9th house, which can see you in the mood to shake things up a little bit. Your two ruling planets are also very much in the picture in the first week, and Saturn, which has been with you since the 7th of March, ends a retrograde on the 4th, and then on the 13th we have an incredibly potent new moon in your sister water sign of Scorpio. So much to share with you. Please stay with me for more. With year 2024 speeding towards us, if you order your year 2024 personal horoscope forecast now, I'll prepare the rest of year 2023 for you free of charge, but also in my special package of 30% off, I'll prepare for you your character analysis report, your life roadmap. This will give you searing insights to understand the patterns that are played out in your life so far, but helping you to get a much more intimate understanding of how to work with these in a really adroit way. Please see the link beneath this video for more information. So Pisces, as you come into November, so the Sun, Mercury and Mars are all in your 9th house. Let's just have a look at the archetypes of this for you, because the host sign of Scorpio is, of course, a water sign, so very much about feeling. And the 9th house can be about knowledge. So in a way, the spiritual knowledge that comes to you through your ruler of Jupiter is emphasized. And I feel that whether it is by planning some kind of expedition, breaking out, being more spontaneous, doing something that's a bit more adventurous, freedom loving, or even on your own, it wouldn't be a surprise. You're in the mood to have a little bit of spontaneity and a variety, and that's emphasized because the Sun is in an opposition with Jupiter, and that's going to give you a real appetite to be more active, to be more stimulated, whether it is searching out new interests, connecting with people, perhaps investigating some technology that may improve your systems at home, or booking some kind of trip, expedition, or perhaps a vacation, all possible in the first part of this month. But what Mars does is gives you a lot more grit to really push yourself out of your comfort zone, because inertia can be an issue for Pisces people, I feel, where you can feel just very comfortable staying in what you know, but that can at times then leave you feeling a little bit lower in energy, because actually you become rather bored and it dulls your senses. And one of the things about the opposition between Mercury in Scorpio and Uranus in your 3rd house, it really is going to inject your situation with a lot of electric energy, which can really push you to perhaps be more experimental, have some conversations, may even challenge yourself by talking to people who see things in a completely different way, because actually it can really activate and stimulate your senses. But Neptune, your other ruler, is in an opposition with Venus. Venus starts this month for the first 8 days in your sector of relating, which is gorgeous. Having Neptune involved as well means that the way that you come across to people, particularly if you encounter somebody for the first time, they could be absolutely smitten by your energy, which can be a little bit indecipherable in some ways. It's something that is otherworldly, but can be very alluring to anyone who experiences it. If you are in a romantic relationship, I think it's possible you either want to do something together that is different, or perhaps even have a little bit of personal space. If you both have individual interests, this would be a fine time to explore them. But on the 4th, Saturn ends that retrograde, which began in the middle of June. It just depends where your sun or other personal planets are located in your natal chart, how much Saturn has been impacting upon you since its arrival in your sign, and also since it went retrograde. If you're very much a believer in whole sign astrology, you may feel that it affects wherever you're located in the sign of Pisces. I can't argue with that. And it may be that you have felt a lower amount of vitality, or the energy that you have had has had to be directed towards things that are really crucial. You haven't been able to spread yourself so thin. So it's ironic that all this energy is manifesting to push you to be more daring as this month begins. Of course, it's easier to be daring when we feel that we've got the vitality and drive to see through what would give us a buzz. If you are feeling less revitalized, Saturn going forwards will certainly take the handbrake off, and I feel that that is welcome. But on the 8th, Venus makes its way out of the sign of Virgo, where it's technically in its full, and moves into the sign it governs of Libra. But for you, this is the 8th house. This can be very much to do with deep sensual attraction, but it also in a practical way can trigger some kind of financial good fortune, but perhaps with someone immediately around you. There's a possibility of some kind of payout around a legacy or an insurance policy, or if you're in business, gaining a new client or customer, which really is very reassuring. But on the 10th, Mercury moves out of your sister water sign of Scorpio, and it moves into Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a mutable sign like yours, but also a fire sign. Mercury is not at its best in Sagittarius, but for you, it's asking you to think about your skill set when it comes to your work. And if part of the restlessness that you've been feeling at the start of the month is because you're in a job that you're not enjoying, Mercury's move can push you to check out some courses, learn or adapt your skills in some kind of way, or even your CV to suit particular opportunities that may come up. But Saturn squares up to Mercury straight away for 3 days. And if you have been feeling lower in vitality, or your confidence has been a little lower, you're being asked to step outside your comfort zone and raise your profile, and that is not necessarily easy. So what I would say to you can do is the energy that's coming through the Sun and Mars can give you the drive to find ways to open up opportunities, even if you have to be quite, at times, quite shrewd about how you use the energy you have. So it may be that you could apply for a job that is stimulating, is different, but not necessarily the absolute number one choice you'd go for if you did have more available vitality. So maybe you need to condition some of the way that you're going to approach things, but the new moon of the 13th is really powerful. The moon, of course, is about nurture. The 9th house is about freedom, but if you're not happy with where you're living, don't be surprised if you decide to move or set a move in motion over the next 4 weeks. Also, this is a moon that's technically in its full, so it's not the best location for the moon, but maybe the scorpionic energy can reveal a mystery that gives you more information. Perhaps it's even unlocking some financial resources to make a change in your situation. This could be linked to some kind of contract or insurance policy or a pension, but Mars is there as well, and Mars applying to the moon is a very restless energy. So if you do feel that you're living or working somewhere that's not meeting your needs, the push to change things is going to be absolutely enormous, even if you are one of those Pisces people who can stick very much with what you know, even if at times it's not meeting all of your needs. So with Mars in the mix on this new moon, there is a degree of volatility and impatience, but also that can be the nudge, the impetus to get something moving that's important to you. So, for example, if you have wanted to do some kind of course of higher education, even if it's through a digital interface, the ninth house is very good for that kind of expansion around ideas. It doesn't have to be just in the physical realm. But from the 18th through to the 22nd, if there are friends that you can connect to who are also in the mood to do something different and be more spontaneous, perhaps you could find yourself heading away across those days in a group situation or with one particular person, and it could actually be something that's very transformational in terms of the confidence it gives you, but also the traction that you gain. Which brings us to the 22nd. The Sun climbs right to the top of your scope to join with Mercury and is joined on the 24th by Mars. So yes, the Sun and Mars continue their connection, and in the last week of this month the emphasis changes much more from shaking things up and being freer and more adventurous in your approach, and really moves to the ambitions you have, the goals. And there could be some big goals that you can push towards with tremendous verve and grit in the last week of this month. What's not to like? Well, it's just your own self-limiting thinking or behaviour, Pisces, because if Saturn is stopping you from believing that you're worthy of some kind of bigger role, position, package, then that is what you're going to bring into reality. You're going to get something that doesn't meet your true expectations. So Saturn is being quite a test for you, but what it's also trying to do is steel you to focus on the things that are truly important. So for example, you may discover through this last phase of the month that your professional situation may not be exactly as you want, but that's okay, because you're still surfing the benefits of the new moon in the ninth house, which is seeing you explore new interests, doing something that creates more variety and rhythm and excitement in your world. And it doesn't necessarily have to follow that you just need to change your job or you're going to have a job that involves travel. That would be rather simplistic. But that brings us to the 25th through to the 30th. Mercury's clashing with Neptune in your sign. When it does come to a job or professional situation, something that you're told might not actually shape up to be exactly what you expect. So watch out for how things are described. Also, your own expectations can be shifted. Your own reality may not be completely stuck. And then when we have the Gemini full moon on the 27th in your sector of home, emotion, shelter, family, nurture, that's needing to coexist with that other part of your nature that may want more recognition, the Sun and Mars. But guess what? They're all T-squared by Saturn. So it's a very complex full moon that brings the curtain down on this month. And it's reminding you in a way that it is important to understand what the things you feel comfortable are right for you. So even if you know you could do a bigger job or you could travel somewhere very exciting and different, if you feel comfortable in a certain way, by the end of this month you may have made some changes, switched things up to some degree, but that actually can be very therapeutic and very good for you, but you may still want to keep a sense of control, which is entirely understandable, particularly if you're born right at the start of the sign of Pisces. But I think it's true to say that if you are, there could be pressures that come from other people, whether it's people close to you who want you to join in and be more daring, or it could be professionally where someone may want you to take on more responsibility. But the one thing this month is not going to be, Pisces, is dull. And I think Saturn going direct, that excitement at the start of the month, a tremendous new moon, if you can surf it, it's going to be like on a very powerful wave, but it can take you somewhere very dynamic and different, but you need to let go in order to enjoy the full benefits. So that may mean in some ways trust in the process, and if things are not quite as controlled as you would like and you're not quite sure what the outcome is, just go with it and see where it takes you.